Hi, I'm Abram, and I'm a Dyslexic on Dyslexic Insights. So, in our last video, we talked about what dyslexia is and how to get diagnosed. So, you've done all that. What do you do now? So, you get accommodations for your school so you can succeed. This usually comes in two different areas: a 504 and an IEP. A 504 comes from Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973. It basically is a civil right for people with disabilities and gives them a right to have accommodations and tools in school to help them succeed and get them an education. So, yeah, it's really simple. A IEP is like a 504 but better. IEP stands for Individualized Educational Plan. It is basically an educational plan where you have staff helping the children, usually with special ed classes in the resource room. Special ed classes are basically special classes made for people with disabilities and having people with disabilities, and it's specifically designed to cater to their disadvantages, okay, or advantages, how you see of it. The resource room doesn't really have a subject other than just normal lessons, like quality of life lessons, and it's usually used as study hall. And the teachers and staff in that class specifically help the students with their assignment to make sure they're on task. So it's definitely an amazing asset. So yeah, that's pretty much a 504 and an IEP. So now we get to the fun part and we can talk about what accommodations you can do. So there are so many accommodations for a 504 and an IEP that I'm just going to list them with a brief description, so it's going to go fast. Of course, if you need clarification or want these tools, then search them up, and it's really easy to find. The Orton-Gillingham instruction is a teaching method that uses sight, hearing, touch, and movement to convey concepts of reading, spelling, and writing to students. A second copy of a textbook at home so the student can read ahead and catch up on work if the class went too fast. Providing audiobooks, which will make it easier to process the information faster. Text-to-speech, which is a tool on the computer that if you highlight something and press a button, the computer will read it out to you, which is extremely useful. Speech-to-text is the opposite of text-to-speech, where on a computer, if you press a button, anything that the student speaks will be translated and put on a document on the computer. Reading material and vocabulary ahead of time so the student can properly memorize it. Giving large writing and reading assignments ahead of time so the student can finish it. Another thing that can help with that is more time on those big assignments. You can ask to record you presenting the presentation ahead of time, because reading either memorizing a script or reading off a script in general is extremely hard, especially in front of a crowd. Similarly, allowing a use of a script, access to computers or phones, which makes it easier to access tools, but it will be taken away if abused. Spelling devices, which are basically programs and tools usually on a computer that corrects poor grammar and spelling. Depending on the flexibility of the teacher, asking not to be graded for spelling or grammar issues. Similarly, reducing the number of spelling, word assignments, and tests. Providing the student with a outline to the teacher's lecture. This will help them process the information, understand the main points a lot easier, and so they can focus on taking notes. Permission to record teachers' lectures. This is amazing for if they forgot or didn't hear or simply didn't process anything that the teacher said. It's a stretch, but asking not to be graded for language used, but instead the ideas that are in the assignment, since dyslexics can't really help not understanding grammar or spelling or anything like that. So you should grade them if they understand what the assignment is supposed to be teaching them. Allowing the use of a keyboard to type out for writing assignments. This also can be used with text to speech and speech to text, but this will just make the process faster and more accurate. If needed, providing copies of assignments and notes, because dyslexics usually have a lot of trouble taking notes on something like a whiteboard, so having a physical copy makes it a lot easier. Access to a calculator or multiplication chart. If possible, access to a physical means of understanding a math problem. For example, using blocks to explain addition. This will make it easier for dyslexic brain to understand math. Additional time for assignments, homework, and tests. Please abuse the extra time at a test. It's so useful. Taking breaks from time to time, because dyslexics usually have to work like twice as much to have the same success. It's extremely exhausting. So just taking a break and recuperating, reprocessing everything that's happening is extremely useful. Answering questions verbally sometimes helps dyslexics because it's easier to explain the concepts of the assignment out loud than in writing, where the disability might impair their abilities. In large print, this just makes it easier for dyslexics to see the page. Highlighters to divide the text better, because sometimes, all the time, dyslexics eyes will just drift through the blocks of text and lose where they are. So dividing the text makes that a lot easier. So those were the main ones that I could think of, but if I think of any more, I might make a second video, a prequel, if you will. So that I don't know, but if you have any other suggestions that weren't mentioned here, please tell me so I can help all of you guys. Okay, so just a warning, teachers sometimes are going to do the bare minimum, and will even just not accept certain tools. So you as a person have to advocate and compromise about that. Also, a lot of teachers sometimes forget to read the IEPs and 504s, or they do and they don't implement those tools because they assume that you're doing fine because you're not talking to them. So at the beginning of the year or whenever you get this implemented, make sure to tell them these new tools, what you're going to be doing and why you're doing them and all that good stuff, because that's really important. So that's pretty much the end of the video. I just want to say, if this helped you, it would be amazing if you could just like or subscribe to support the channel. I hope that just to help a lot more dyslexics like me when I struggled a lot. If you also have any other suggestions for, again, like I said, accommodations, tools, if you have any questions, I might be really slow to answering them, but might as well shoot your shot. If you see anyone else in the comment section with a question that you just happen to know the answer, please educate them. And I hope this helped, and I guess have a good day.